Atonement for Me, Episode 86, Ultrasound. Hey Magical Misfits, it's Caden Ivy and welcome back to Atonement for Me. So recently I have been able to go in for an early ultrasound. I did get one done at the hospital when I was in the first time, but that was more of a dating ultrasound for due date to make sure that everything was okay and that there was not multiples. But my next ultrasound after that would be my 20-week, which is coming up in the end of September. But Donald was really impatient to see baby, so we had an early appointment at UC Baby to see our little baby. And I think he really wanted to be able to do that because he wasn't able to be with me when I was in the hospital for the first one. So this was the first ultrasound that he got to see. And the first time he got to hear the heartbeat of baby as well, whereas I had already done that at the hospital when I had gotten the dating ultrasound. And the dating ultrasound was very, very vague shapes. This is probably around 10 weeks. So the baby looked like a little jelly bean, not really human-ish or even fetus-ish formed at that time. So by the time we get around 14, 15 weeks, we have a lot more development that we are able to see in the ultrasound, so it has a lot more of a fetus shape. But looking at those images, that's the first time I've ever seen anybody who is blood related to me. And even though that person is still growing and forming into their features, that's really an overwhelming thought or idea for me. Growing up, I always wondered what my biological parents looked like. My sister is the spitting image of, she's like directly down the center of my dad and my mom. You can tell all of my mom's features in my sister, and then all of my dad's features are in my sister. So if you put them beside their respective families, she blends in seamlessly. And that's something that I was always on the outside to. Even when I took special effects in college, the closest thing that I'd ever seen of a relation of mine was I aged a photo of myself to approximately how old my biological mother would have been at the time, just so I could see kind of how she would look, even though I don't know what features I would have acquired from her. It's that same kind of thought train when you're looking at this ultrasound, because you don't know what features of the baby will be predominantly from me and predominantly from Donald. And it's a really exciting thing to be anticipating and waiting for. But it is such an emotional mountain peak for me to even see somebody who shares the same DNA as me being formed, because that idea is just so untangible for me still, because it's still just a visual and a concept, because I haven't met the baby in the physical world yet. So hearing the heartbeat and seeing the baby's little face and knowing that is growing inside me is one of the craziest concepts that I've ever had to resonate in. I'm still having a hard time kind of understanding it all. Pregnancy was always a complete mystery to me as a child, because the thought of an entire other human being being inside of another human being just completely blew my mind. I couldn't wrap my head around it. And I think I still, even though I am pregnant, have a hard time wrapping my head around it. And then I feel the baby's heartbeat, or I feel a little movement, and I'm kind of jolted back into this fragmented reality of, oh yeah, that's real. That's actually happening to me. It's a very strange headspace, but it's still super exciting and really overwhelming that you can even see the little fingers and the little outline of the head and the nose, even though the picture is super, super fuzzy, you can still see the overall design of that human being. And that is probably one of the most insane miracles I have ever got to witness or be a part of. And that's just the tea.